everyone, here we are for round 6 of the Clarkson James GT3 Season 4, hosted by the Tanso Racing Group. This week we're in Montreal at Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve. This is very much a wall-banging track. There are a number of chicanes and a couple of walls on the exit of these chicanes that can cause us a bit of grief. So, as always, let's jog along and see how they qualified and line up on the grid. So, we have 11 runners this time, and we have Sean McLaughlin back on pole. Well done. With Andy White in second, Baz Cutting in third, Joe Spara, new to the series, with us anyway, in fourth, Harry Hartley-Price in fifth, Tim Reed in sixth, Craig Corish in seventh. Mark Viro is one of 3 AMs out on the track tonight, in eighth and heading up the AM list. Byron's in ninth, Ben Groves in 10th, and Dave Clark is back on track in 11th. So let's go and see how we get on. So they're ready to go on the shortened parade lap here as the safety car takes them away. Warm those tyres up. They'll need to be at a good temperature for the first lap, just to make sure you stay out of trouble and stay off these walls. There's a good example there on that hairpin. And as we come down the back straight, the pit entry is not the most simple either, because you come at the pit entry very much at speed. As we'll see the safety car dive off in a second, and then they'll go through what will be the last chicane before the start finish to begin the race. As I say, we've got Sean McLaughlin out front, followed by Andy White, and here we go, and it's green and they're off. Sean McLaughlin takes them cleanly through the first couple of turns. Andy White closely behind, with Joe Spara in third, Baz Cutting in fourth, and Harry Hartley-Price in fifth. Tim Reed leads them through, so more or less as they were. Unfortunately, Dave Clark didn't make it out of the pits, so we're down to 10. Andy White trying to stay on the tail of Sean McLaughlin. We know how hard that's going to be. Now Baz Cutting and Harry are having a close battle here. These two best of friends off the track. No quarter given on it. They will race each other as hard as anyone. And Harry doing what he can to try and chase Baz down. Put the old guy under pressure. And I must say, Andy White is giving McLaughlin a run for his money this time. He's not getting away with it easily as we come around that chicane. That is so so much potential for an accident. That last chicane there. tough circuit. Oh, he's got one eye on those walls as you come round these tight chicanes and the not so tight chicanes. Got some movement further at the back. Tim Reed seems to be dropping some places here. Don't know whether he's had an issue. We've got some, looks like a bit of damage. Oh, and poor old Tim's wingless. I've got to say, you know, Tim is pretty speedy. He doesn't have the best of luck though. And yeah, he's duffed that car up well and truly. That will be a trip into the pits, I think, for a repair. Can't see him being able to carry on at any pace around this track, to be honest. We're going to jump back to Harry and his fight with Baz here. And Harry's doing as much as he can to get on the tail of that Corvette. But Baz is just managing to hold him at bay and maintain that gap. Harry's just got to wait for the mistake, I think. Try and put him under pressure. Well, we're going to have a little look at our AM class leader, Mark Vero. He's out on his own. Good 6 seconds ahead of Ben Groves. Unfortunately, there's only 2 AMs on track tonight. A number of people couldn't actually make the session. They do have 2 drop weeks allowable. It's just unfortunate a few of them seem to have taken them at the same time this week. So all in all, Mark can just keep it on track. He's got all the AM points in his pocket, really. Unless Ben can do anything about that. So the fight really is with Harry here against Baz. I mean, they can still see the top 3 in front of them. So it's not a done deal at all. And this track is quite renowned for its amount of incidents, and in the real world, safety cars. And Harry is getting a bit closer to Baz here as we go round. And we've got a battle of 3 now. Baz is now getting on the back of Joe. And Harry is there or thereabouts too. So they're just basically going to be chasing Joe down. And trying to put the pressure on, really. We come around the wall of champions. Quite ironically, I've seen a few champions hit it too. And this isn't an easy chicane either. Not at speed in any case. Full track, and we come round the left-hander here and sweep right yet again. Quite a full-on chicane, but now Baz is right on the back of Joe here, and we get a good view of the action in car with Baz. Comes to the outside in the chicane. Oh, sorry, the hairpin there. That's the hairpin that brings us down into the back straight. Baz went for the outside line. And these two have dropped Harry a bit, but Harry's probably going to pick up the pieces. Let's see what happens. We come into the chicane with the Wall of Champions. Very nicely taken. Oh! And we said Andy White lost it. So it's claimed a victim. Out front there, Andy White has lost it and let Sean McLaughlin run off into the distance. Luckily, didn't take anyone else out, and I think Andy's recovered the car. Don't know what the damage will be. We'll need to go into the pits. Baz is really on the tail here. Comes in deep. Oh, Joe gives a bit of a wiggle there. And Baz is putting Joe ever so much more under pressure. This is where the main fight is. They're now fighting over second place. Oh, and has Joe made a mistake there? He's just taken a different line. Didn't lose any time. And they come down. Just see Sean McLaughlin way out in front there. Really putting the pressure on. It's got to come to something soon. Gonna have a quick flip to Andy. His car looks okay. He's going a bit slow, but doesn't seem to be a lot of damage on the outside. I'm gonna flip back again to Baz. Don't want to miss any of the action here. These three providing all the entertainment so far tonight. That's apart from Tim and Andy, of course, with their little offs, but whilst McLaughlin is nearly 6 seconds up the road, these three all battling for second place. We're only 10 minutes in. Pit stops to come as well, and it looks like Ben Groves is out. That is unfortunate for Ben. Whether that's a technical issue there, or whether he's had an incident and felt he couldn't recover. So in AMS, that leaves Mark Vero. He's literally got to drive it home. You do have to finish to get points, so he can't just park it in the garage. And disconnect. He has to stay online to collect the points, but should be a done deal for him, really. No pressure. So Baz has now lost touch a bit with Joe, but maybe just taking a break, because it can get quite intense around here. Now, Baz and Harry raced together, part of the endurance team for Tanso, within the Tanso League, HB Racing. So you see them in a few of the endurance events, typically running the LMP2 or the GT3s. Baz is an old-time iRacer and sim racer, going back a good number of years, maybe I want to say about 14 years or so, maybe longer than that. Harry, by comparison, is a young whippersnapper, but he is fast as these guys, and able to hold his own. Joe gets very close to the wall there. Joe's not slow by any means. Raced with Joe a few times in another league. In fact, me and Joe have had a couple of come-ins together. But all in all taken with a little pinch of salt. So if you're watching this, Joe, yes, I haven't forgotten Interlagos. But Baz is back on him. Maybe Baz can get one back for me. Chasing Joe down into the hairpin again. Baz takes a much tighter line through there. Joe goes out wide and pulls it back in. Now, Baz is within 3/10. He's trying to look for a way through. These chicanes do have a habit of bunching you up, but you've still got to get past, and you've got to do it safely as well. Right, we'll let these two crack on for a bit. Just noticed that Byron is Craig Corish got some damage on the back of that car there. And Byron's catching him up, I think. Don't know whether we can get a view on Craig's car. Let's see if we can have a look at the back of that. Yeah, definitely some damage. That Audi has had a little bit of an accident. There's some bits pointing in the wrong direction and a bent fender and side panel. So that will account for Byron catching up. Right, we're going to go back up. It looks like we missed a point, but Baz got past Joe. I'm sorry about that. We've been following that all that time. Yep, Baz has got in front of Joe. Oh, Joe has a little twitch. This is where Baz really putting Joe under pressure. We'll see how he managed to get past him. Baz up inside here into the hairpin. Yeah, and he does him on the hairpin. Through he goes. And Baz is making for the hills now. Taking advantage of getting in front of Joe, and he's off. So it does look like Joe was actually holding Baz up. No damage that I can see on Joe's car. But Harry's certainly putting him under pressure. Come back again to the Wall of Champions. Oh, very, very close to the wall there for Joe. I think this little battle may go on all night, and it's quite entertaining in and of itself, as those tyres start to go off as well, become even more interesting. We've got about another 10 minutes before anyone gets anywhere near thinking about pit stops, I would have thought. And I'm not really certain what the deal is at Montreal, whether there's any advantage to pitting early. Although here, if they're still fighting by the time it comes around to the pit window being open, Harry might actually be able to do himself a favour by pitting. Oh, and Baz has gone in. Oh, no, Joe's gone in the pits. Sorry, I thought it was Baz for a minute. So Joe's gone into the pits. That seems very early. We've got Craig Corish in the pits as well, but we know Craig's car was damaged anyway. Right. So this is going to make it interesting. Joe feel he can execute an advantage here? He's coming out the pit exit. And he's back out on track. And Craig is on his way out too. So no real battles out there at the moment. Still Baz and Harry the closest up. Be interesting to see whether we see anyone else dive into the pits early. Looks like the strategy I was suggesting is exactly what Joe's done. I'm just surprised that Joe took that decision. So this is going to be about when Baz and Harry, basically when they pit, and what that opens up for us. But we've got Joe and Tim 7th and 8th there. I'm assuming Tim has not pitted. Otherwise it'd be quite a bit behind. Okay, now we got Sean McLuhan riding out front, 12.5 seconds. Back to Baz cutting with Hartley Price in third behind him, 1.5 seconds back. And then Andy White is 7 seconds back there, made a recovery up into fourth. Mark Vero, the only AM that's currently running, goes through the wall of champions, survives that one. He's another 4 seconds behind, and 4 seconds behind him is Byron. Joe, who we know has pitted, gets very close to the wall there. And we go back to Tim Reed. And at the moment, at the back of the pack is Craig Corish, who has had his Audi fixed. Good work there. So we'll just stay with Baz here for a while. Try and make this a bit more interesting. And we'll go on board with Harry. And watch Baz. Just out in front of him. I'm sure these guys have backed off, taking it easy. Going to do the pit stops. They're just over halfway through now. This car sounds so nice. I can't drive this for toffee, but it is a nice sounding car nonetheless. See the old Mustang come around the back there. We'll get some more of that sound, shall we? So as the two American cars muscle their way around Montreal. McLaughlin 14 seconds out front, Baz cutting in second, and we're on board with Hartley Price in third. As come around the hairpin onto the back straight. Now we've got 20 minutes to go. We're getting into definite pit window time now. No one's ready out of these two to go in just yet. So Mark's holding his own here in the AMs. He's way out in front on points in the AM Championship. This will just basically secure his lead even more now. Just having a look up and see the standings. So in the AMS, yeah, Mark Viro's on 222 points. Quite a way ahead of second place. Sean Clark on 162. Jordan Hadfield, both of those not racing tonight, on 120. Barry Evans on 99 and David Swinho in 5th on 44. As we see Mark go into the pit lane. So they've all started diving into the pit lane now. That puts Andy White out front. Sean McLaughlin has come out of the pits. So just before the 30-minute mark, and they've all decided to dive in. So the interesting one, we're going to look for the pit exit. Harry's making it out of the pits. Right, so let's jump on board with Joe. There's the pit exit there on your left. Harry's just come out and got in front. Great manoeuvre by Harry. That was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic pit stop. And just basically from before all the pit stops, Harry was sitting in 5th. He's now in 3rd. I've got to say, what has been a bit of a humdrum of a race, once they all spread out a bit, that just made up for it there. So Joe is now in a sandwich between Harry and Baz. And it's going to be up to Baz now to chase Joe down. All the time while Joe tries to stay on the back of Harry. As Andy is the last to go in the pits. So Andy White is in the pits. That puts Sean McLaughlin back in the lead. As they come down the back straight, where's Andy going to come out? This. Will he be able to get out of the pits? There he is. He's only just stopped, so they're going to go flying past. 16 seconds back now to McLaughlin, these three. Andy White's now coming out of the pits as Mark Vero takes a bit of a tussle there, 5th and 6th. So Mark Vero's in overall 6th, leading the AMS. Andy White in 5th. And here is the battle, basically, with Baz and Joe chasing Harry down. With 15 minutes to go. A very defensive line there as they go into that corner from Joe. Just prevents Baz from being tempted to go up the inside on him. Just positioned slightly offline. Baz can't tuck it around enough to cut back in. And they go down the start, the back straight towards the pits. And through the chicane safely on the Wall of Champions. So Harry now commanding second place, pulling away a bit from Joe, who only closes it down under braking very slightly. This monster of a Ford. Driving very well around Montreal. Now Baz and the Chevrolet putting the BMW of Joe Spara under pressure as much as he can. And we have definitely got a close battle here as they come through. Joe tucks to the inside. Jeez. It's that close line again for these. Take a totally different line in that hairpin there. These two. As they try to get around each other. It makes for some very entertaining fighting. And a good spectacle for us. So Joe's now closing down on Harry. Joe late on the brakes, but not close enough to make a move. And we come up to another chicane. A bit faster this one. You still can't take it for granted. Get it wrong, you're in a wall. That's basically the mantra of this track. Baz is right on the back now. Now he's gone up the inside of Joe. Whoa. And he accelerates through. He gets the better exit there. And he's through. What a great pass. Fantastic manoeuvre that was. Really, really good. Clean through. Joe takes that wide line. Baz takes the closer one. And keeps it tight in. Oh, we've lost Mark Vero. What's happened there? He's out. Lap 22. 10 minutes to go. Mark has gone. All of our M's are out. That is very unfortunate. So no points scored in the AMs this round. Well, for those that didn't take part, that's good news. For those that did, hopefully it'll be one of their drop weeks. So it won't make much of a difference. Now, Harry's pulled away whilst Baz and Joe have been doing the fighting behind them. That leaves Joe just 3/10 behind Baz, who's went over a second now behind Harry. So this is proving a tough old battle. Just go under the 10-minute mark. No more pit stops expected. And Baz goes a bit wider this time round the hairpin. So I don't know whether that was an unnatural move he was doing before, just to try and keep it tight, keep the traction, and get a really good exit on Joe. But yeah, he went the more, say, normal line. Oh, and he clips the wall there. Oh. That right wing at the back has got a few scratches on. Hopefully that's all it is. And no underlying damage to the wheel arch. You press in real life, the wheel arch get pressed in onto the tyre. And then basically takes a groove into the tyre until it blows. So even from a light touch in real GT3 racing, it can have catastrophic outcomes. I'm not sure that's modelled in on iRacing. It would be quite spectacular if it was. I think a few people would be a little bit more careful. Now Baz has got Harry very much under pressure. He's managed to relieve the pressure himself from Joe behind. And now fighting Harry down. Meanwhile, out front, McLaughlin is 20 seconds up the road. That is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Bit of driving from McLaughlin. Well, he may be a teammate, but Baz isn't letting him off easy. He's definitely putting the pressure on him. And through this, Joe's catching up. I think again it's a case that Baz is being held up by the defending car. And if Baz gets past, he's probably going to be off again. And he goes up the inside here. Oh, I think Harry was a bit kind there. But they definitely weren't going to have any argy-bargy. And I think he knew that Baz was faster. So Baz is now through. And Harry's now got to defend from Joe. It may be the case that the tyres have gone on Harry's car as he blips in and out of existence there for a second. No harm done though. And we just see that battle behind. Sorry. Joe trying to get what will be the inside for this corner. And he does take a lot off of that first part of that corner. Managed to make the move and get through. So Joe is now through on Harry. So Harry goes from second to fourth in just under a lap. Right, as we come up to the 5-minute mark, John McLaughlin, 22 seconds ahead of second place, Baz Cutting, with Joe Sparrow in third, or 1 second behind. Harry Hartley-Price. Oh, has Joe gone? Joe spun. Unforced error there. Because Baz was way up the road. Unforced error from Joe. Oh, that's left this wide open for Baz and Harry now. Right, let's pick up with Joe here and see what happened. Oh, did he catch the grass just before he goes into the corner? I think that's what it is. And he went for a spin. Oh, and then he gives a front wing a tap. Yeah, nothing more than that. Just caught the grass on the way out. Change the order a bit. So Jean McLaughlin in first, 22 seconds back to Baz. Harry Hartley-Price in third, 4 seconds behind. Andy White, 4.5 seconds behind him. And poor Joe Sparrow. Sparrow has spun. Now gets to chase Andy White for the last 4 minutes of the race. So I don't know whether there's much in this now. Joe's consolation is basically to try to get back up to 4th, but to do that he's got to get past Andy White, which is no mean feat, you know. Really got to push to be able to do that. He's 2 seconds behind with 2.5 minutes to go. And sort of 1 minute 36 seconds a lap. That's only a couple of laps, so I can't see this happening. I think this is it, and Joe may be backing off now. It's gone up by 2 seconds. So we're going to go right up front to the well-deserved Sean McLaughlin. And we'll get him to take us round. For a lap. Now, this is the back straight. Leads down to the pit entry, which you'll see on the left-hand side. What makes it a difficult pit entry is you're coming in at such speed, you don't want to slow down. And then you've got to dive off there to the left. As we go over the wall of champions, we'll try and stay out of the wall, like a few have done tonight, and across the start-finish line. And then we have a sweeping left-hander and a tight right-hander, obscured by the pit exit, which can be on a busy track at pit time. Can be deadly. And then we have this slightly wider chicane. Got to try and maintain your speed, and you see the scrub marks on the wall, and then a more open left and right, and this sweeping left-hander. You cut off on the left there, and you've got to be accelerating when you come out of here. Again, another wall that you're facing. As we see, Joe Sparrow has gone in the pits, so must have gained some damage from that off. And then this yet another chicane. Big sausage curves there can send you flying into the right hand wall. And then we come round the corner up for the hairpin. Now Baz would take a tight angle here, as does McLaughlin. And that leads us back down to the start finish straight. Sean McLaughlin takes us through the wall of champions for the final time, and he wins the race by a massive margin, 25 seconds. Well done, McLaughlin. That was absolutely brilliant bit of racing there. Just absolutely faultless. No pressure at all throughout the race. Go back to join Baz Cutting, come across the line. He's had some good battles out there tonight. Harry Hartley-Price comes in 3rd, and Andy White in 4th. Byron comes across the line in 5th. Craig Corish with a repaired Audi. Tim Reed. And it looks like Joe decided enough was enough and stayed in the pits. So there we have it, guys. Let's go and have a look at the official results, shall we? We just got the results for the pros because the AMs didn't finish. We have Jean McLaughlin is the winner, Baz Cutting in 2nd, Harry Hartley-Price in 3rd, Andy White in 4th, Byron in 5th, Craig Corish in 6th, 7th is Tim Reed, and Joe Sparrow A lap behind, stayed in the pits at the end there, still connected, so that still counts. Then if we go and look at the AMs, we only had 3 participants in the AMs, none of which finished, even though it shows Mark Vero as a winner, didn't actually finish, so no points for any of those. So next week we will be at the Red Bull Ring. Fantastic track that, very enjoyable. Hope you enjoyed this race. I know there wasn't too much action, but Baz, Harry and Joe did give us some challenge, and an absolute well done to Sean McLaughlin again. A commanding win there. Absolutely fantastic.